Taoiseach, I want to raise the issue today with you in relation to the unedifying spectacle of the HSE threatening legal injunctions against the Health Information Quality Authority in the context of an investigation into the quality and patient safety and standards of service at the Regional Hospital Portlaoise, the Midland Regional Hospital in Portlaoise. The background to this, Taoiseach, as you know, was that over a year ago, the Chief Medical Officer, Tony Holohan, did a report in relation to, as a result of perinatal deaths at the hospital. Now, his report, which was an initial conclusion, didn't pull too many punches when he said that families and patients were treated in a poor, and at times appalling manner, with limited respect, kindness, courtesy and consideration. He said information that should have been given to families was withheld for no justifiable reason. That poor outcomes that could likely have been prevented were identified and known by the hospital but not adequately and satisfactorily acted upon. That the PHMS service cannot be regarded as safe and sustainable when in its governance arrangements. Many organisations had no information regarding the safety of PHMS that could have led to earlier intervention had it been brought together. And the external support and oversight from HSE should have been stronger and more proactive. Now, as a result of that, Taoiseach, the then Minister, James Riley, decided to initiate the HIQA investigation into the safety, quality and standards of service provided by the Health Service Executive to patients in the Midland Regional Hospital, a broader investigation in many ways. And over the last year, HIQA has been engaged in that very exercise, in that report. So obviously Minister Riley thought this was very serious, given the report of the Chief Medical Officer. 85 families, Taoiseach, have provided information to the HIQA investigation. Now, we do need to be sensitive to the parents of babies that have died at the hospital and their absolute need for the full truth to emerge unhindered. Well, I would put it to you, Taoiseach, that this could be a very defining moment for the Health Information and Quality Authority, defining moment for its independence and its capacity to investigate without being emasculated, without being undermined, or, to put it more bluntly, Taoiseach, to be told shut up, or to pull its punches behind the scenes. Now, I've read the correspondence that has been either leaked or distributed by the HSE, and it seems to believe that the investigation should be a joint process between HIQA and the HSE. And indeed, the Minister today spoke about a bilateral process having been agreed by both organisations, by the entity that is investigating and the entity who is the subject matter of the investigation. There's a certain irreconcilability about such a process. And I want you, Taoiseach, to confirm to me, because I don't think it's a matter of government being detached from this. The Minister has not affirmed the independence of HIQA in the conduct of this very important investigation. Its independence is at stake, in my view. It's a very important. So, do you, Taoiseach, affirm and accept the independence in the first instance of the Health Information Quality Authority in regard to this investigation? And secondly, can you indicate, Taoiseach, when you now expect the report to be published?
Thank you. Taoiseach. Well, I thank Deputy Martin for raising this. It is a serious matter, and it is sensitive, as you say, because it refers to parents and the birth of children. Let me confirm to you that the Minister has affirmed the absolute independence of HIQA and did so publicly yesterday. The letters that you refer to from the HSE have been published on the website of the HSE, as I understand it, from Mr Tony O'Brien, and obviously they speak for themselves, and Deputy Martin has referred to that. It's regrettable that this has taken place in this fashion. I suppose, if you look back over the years, it's not the first time that agencies or elements of the state have taken legal action against each other. I note that in the end, at the closing paragraph of the letter from the HSE, that they withdraw from what they termed the extraordinary position of having to seek counsel advice in respect of going to court. The Minister has intervened here to say that it is not appropriate and that taxpayers' money will be used to settle a row between two agencies of state. And I'm glad that following a meeting last week that a way forward has been found here. So the situation is that the Minister has affirmed the absolute independence of HIQA. A way has now been found to deal with this by sitting down and working it out. And I can't indicate to you, Deputy Martin, when the report will be published. It would be wrong, as you're aware, to publish what is a draft report now. And this is a matter that that needs to be dealt with clearly, and in taking into account the responsibilities both of the HSE and the independence of HIQA, and the requirement to send a report to the Minister, which he will receive, consider and publish. I can't give you a date as to when that's going to be finalised.
The language you use there goes to the core of it, that they're both sitting down and working it out. Working what out?
Difference between the...
Okay, but the invest... No, Taoiseach, I accept the need for fair procedure, due process, okay? But this idea that's now emerging, that behind the scenes, two bodies are going to sit down and work it out. Work what out? I mean, the job of HIQA is to investigate, to come to conclusions. Those conclusions may be unpalatable to the HSE. But the full extent and range of those conclusions shouldn't be up for grabs, shouldn't be up for sorting out behind the scenes. Are they going to go through a conclusion by conclusion? Will the HIQA report be fatally compromised ultimately through this process of bilateral process of working it out?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, the HIQA report has not been accepted by the HIQA board yet. The HIQA report has not been accepted by the HIQA board yet. It hasn't been accepted by the HIQA board yet. This is a draft report, and as you're aware, the investigating independent authority here is HIQA.
Please. Sorry, please. Sorry, Deputy, please, you know the procedures here. You resume your seat, thank you. Sorry, the Taoiseach without interruption. Deputy. No, but you can't do that.
The Minister has reaffirmed the independence of HIQA. This is a draft report. It has not been finalised. It has not been concluded by the HIQA board. HSE contest elements of what HIQA have in their draft report. They intended to proceed to court, to have a court hearing on this. The Minister has said this is not appropriate, and I agree with him. So it's a case of the investigating authority here, which is HIQA, independent, and HSE answering to the charges that have been made by HIQA in this draft report. And when those discussions are concluded, I expect you'll have a report that can be finalised and agreed and sent to the Minister for consideration for publication. So it's not a case. If you think you might prefer, Deputy Martin, as happened with the Department of Education over the years, where taxpayers' money was used to go to court about ascertaining the rights of children with particular challenges. In this case, what's happening here now is HIQA have carried out the report, which was initiated by the previous Minister for Health. That has made certain findings. It's a draft report. It's not a finalised report. And HSE are entitled to answer the charges that are placed against them by HIQA, as Deputy Fleming is well aware. And that's the way, Deputy Martin, that this draft report will move from that to being a report that's finalised. So HIQA have found against the HSE on a whole range of areas, as is referred to in the correspondence published.
Sorry, please, time is up here.
A way has now been found to have this proceed without a court case